Right, okay, so Incredible Melting Man. Fairly seminal body horror title from 1977. Seminal insofar as it's relatively early for the genre. It's one of Rick Baker's earlier instances showing off to the world what he was capable of. It's also one of the few well known or few period films from William Sachs. Now, Incredible Melting Man has maybe a bit of a divided reputation. I think there are those who praise it for its VFX, although I think it's just as well known, really probably more well known, as just sort of an infamously subpar film, partly due to its appearance slash being riffed on the whole MST3K project from the late 90s. I'm not really an MST3K sort of guy. It's just a bit, I don't know, a bit ho for me. And I don't know, like maybe like I don't find that many things funny. Period, because I'm a cantankerous, angry piece of shit. But like I just don't find their commentary that funny. Personally, I mean that's just a matter of taste and preference, I suppose. But I mean, if that was the one way of watching some of these older sort of bizarre B films of the post-war era in America, so be it. I mean, Incredible Melting Man. If I have issues with Incredible Melting Man, it's that I think it's too slow for its own good. I think it just becomes a more boring version of Dewan's Most Dangerous Man Alive without the pizzazz and the filmic disposition of that work. I mean, this film has better effects than that. Although, I mean, it's just simply it simply kind of meanders. It has pretty good cinematography. Like, I've taken screen caps here. There are more good shots in the film that I simply couldn't be bothered taking pictures after a while. It just is what it is. Sue me. But it's not a bad looking film. But it's less entertaining than say even something like, and it's a similarly sort of probably more so dismissed film is Laser Blast from '78. I really love Laser Blast, not just for the effects, but I just think it's an interesting, like what Texas Chainsaw Massacre was. I think it's an interesting distillation of the times, that era and that generation in the United States. I think it's ironically a film that we could show Laser Blast to actual aliens and they would sort of understand, like it would be so coherent for them and they would understand it as a slice of American life of that era in a really beautiful, interesting way. And sometimes when you do these sort of genre fiction exaggerations, they hit closer to home, or can, than the sort of social realist uh, experiments, because those can feel sort of tacky or a bit forced middle class, or even sort of fetishizing conflict. I'm often reminded of, in that respect, and like with no disrespect, but you think of all those actors in Cassavetes' A Woman Under the Influence, and I really love Cassavetes' films, but I was always a bit concerned about A Woman Under the Influence, where I almost thought, do these characters really know what this is, what it is like? Do people who've been through the situations depicted in the sort of difficult family lives depicted in A Woman Under the Influence, what do they actually think of a film like that? Do they think, yes, this is it, it's good that someone's making a film about us? Or do they think this is a bunch of Hollywood slash New York types trying to like impress their peers by exploiting our suffering? Because I've often felt this way. Like I've often wondered, do working class individuals in Britain feel this way about the films of Ken Loach, Mike Leigh, or say Gary Oldman's Nil by Mouth? I know that Gary Oldman, that film was meant to be autobiographical. He did come from a working class background with a father that was tragically apparently similar to Ray Winstone's character in Nil by Mouth, and so as a result, maybe you can put certain pictures off of the hook, and maybe Cassavetes or Gina were from a more sort of difficult background than I realized, but just given their prominence as sort of New York actors in the sort of independent cinema / theatre scene. Like you know, one can only speculate, frankly. But no, I've gone on a tangent there, as I tend to do. I didn't script this one. I just couldn't know. Like, what am I going to do? Like, write a few paragraphs about the Incredible Melting Man? Do you want me to? Unsubscribe. I've never told anyone to subscribe, but unsubscribe. If you're not happy. I do this for my fun, not yours. If you have fun, that's just totally incidental. Now, Incredible Melting Man. It's not painful to watch, but by the second half's commencement, you're kind of happy you're in the second half, just so you can like, all right, we've got long to go now. But you have fun, while still being relieved that you haven't got a huge number of minutes to go, although you are enjoying what you're seeing for what it's worth. That's all I feel is worth sharing here, personally.